Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Penguin.
And I'm Sean.
No, you're not.
Where are we, Penguin?
I believe it's MLG Daybreak. Yes, it is MLG Daybreak, and we are going to be jumping into the last quarterfinal series. This is going to be a TVP again. Is that the third TVP?
That is indeed the third TVP matchup that we are
There's no
casting
more.
today. It is the only matchup we have cast today.
Well,
And
there's no more Zergs left.
there, I believe that is correct.
Oh, that's depressing.
Yeah,
Well, Dignitas Killer.
I guess Terran and Protoss have to be nerfed now. Now that the Antarctic Cup #2 has had only Protoss and Terran in the top 8.
In the top 8, yeah. That's actually really depressing. Dignitas' Killer was the big hope for the Zerg race. Did fall to Everize, who is going to be spawning in the top right spawn location here as the pink Terran. Real men play in pink. That's all I have to say about that.
And in yellow, because here in the bottom left corner is the one and only mouzHasuObs.
Yeah, mouzHasuObs is playing on the team account, the Mouse team account, and I just have to throw it out there how much of a baller HasuObs is. HasuObs is such a baller that he stayed up until 6 a.m. German time to play in this tournament. That's just
Yes, indeed.
And, yep. Everize is going to be moving out with a scout. This is obviously, as we said, Daybreak. And Daybreak is, while it's a two-player spawn map, this is a map that really gives a lot of, it really, spawns a lot of big, long games. And, well, no, Krauman, he didn't get up at 6 a.m. because it finished at 6 a.m. It started at around 1 a.m. German time, so he did, in fact, stay up till 6. HasuObs is Gosu.
Indeed, the tournament does go all night for them Europeans. And yeah, not much going on really. We've got HasuObs putting down that cybercore. He only has one probe on gas. Finally putting a second probe on gas, probably in a couple seconds for you, Penguin.
Yeah,
let's see if
no, there are two on gas now, and this is simply so that he just has 50 for when that cybercore pops. And I believe who is it? There was one Protoss who I was casting in one of the other tournaments in the European Pro Series that I cast last week. And what he started to do is he just got an earlier gas and only threw one probe into it. That's what he would do. And then he would have 50 as soon as the cybercore popped to be able to get warp gate, but also not have all that much. Also have not that much gas and more minerals. There was a much better way to say that, but I just lost it somewhere.
Whatever. Like we, I think the viewers got the message. So you know what? You can be happy with yourself. Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And sure, there was a better way to say that, but you know what? I don't care because there's a game going on, and it looks like we're going to see a 1-gate expo and a 1 Rax expand out of both players.
Everize has thrown down barracks 2, 3, and 4, so he may be going into some pretty heavy bio play after this, and that would not be surprising. And I have to turn myself on busy so that I don't get notifications when Krauman comes online.
Ooh, we're going to see a 5th barracks come down, which means we're going to see some. Not just some very bio-heavy play. We're actually going to see some bio-heavy super aggression. So
that is true. And Everize is going to be moving a scout around here. Not really sure why. It is going to have an unpleasant encounter with this stalker. They are not best friends forever. He is going to be able to get that SCV. That is 1 worker kill, 1-0 for HasuObs.
Yes, indeed. If you press that Control R, you will see that. But unless, wait, it's a European game, so don't, like, crash your game because you accidentally press Control R, and that's right.
No, I have it set to O umlauts.
Oh, umlaut. Yes. Yeah.
Epic Fire Ant, I would love to catch some Spanishiwa games. Now we just need to get Spanishiwa to sign up for an Antarctic Cup.
Yeah, tell Illusion to tell Spanishiwa to sign up when he signs up and doesn't show up to the next tournament.
Yeah, that did happen at MLG Orlando. He was... Ooh, we're having a nice little micro war going on here with this stuff.
No, I was talking about Illusion, not...
Illusion.
Didn't he not check in?
No, Illusion was not a sign-up. We did have... it was Vile Didoro who signed up.
Didn't we get illusion? I thought
I
we got illusion as well.
I don't think so. But there are a
Oh, okay.
fair
All
amount of
right. Then
Marines.
my bad. I guess it was Didoro.
Ooh, Mouse.
But either way, yeah.
Hasselhoff is going to
As
be sneaking past these Marines. Going to be getting a free Marine kill there, and he's going to be moving into the natural. And Everize is a little out of
it's a mess.
position here.
Oh no! Will he snipe the mule? Will he snipe the mule?
Ooh, he is going to be moving into the mineral line now. I'm having some crazy lag, and I don't know why. He is going to be able to snipe the mule. Gets both mule. No, is he?
Oh,
No, doesn't
oh,
get both
that
mules.
mule.
Nope,
That
that
mule
mule is
has
going to
10 health.
survive.
Although,
And,
to be perfectly honest, sniping the mule is just as good as keeping the mule busy for 30 seconds, because that mule is only going to get a few minerals in before it dies a slightly more pointless death than it could have.
that's very true. And that mule was pulled all the way to the front with the Marines. He's running back. Must get as much mining done as possible.
And meanwhile, while Sean and Penguin are talking about a single mule, there's actually a game going on.
Whoa, that's dangerous talking, Sean.
Yeah, I don't know. I know what I was thinking there.
Everize is actually in a fairly good position. Taking a look at the army supply, HasuObs does have a pretty significant worker lead. 5 workers in his favor. He did kill 1 with that attack. Not the biggest success there, but there are a lot of Marines on the field, and he's going to be engaging again. Going to be able to take out those 2 Zealots before they do any... Oh no, one Zealot will get 1 hit off. A lot of Stalkers going to... and they're not going to go down, I don't think. A couple of them might. One does go down. HasuObs is going to be trying to run with them, trying to kite those Marines as much as possible. And nice micro to keep the one without shields at the back, but he is just going to pull back to this proxy pylon. And looks like he's actually going to pull back to the cliff.
Yeah, and the Marines, they see the proxy pylon. They're going to go ahead and take that out. Ooh, the Stalker is moving up. Will they be able to do any damage?
I'm just going to ×2 this for a second so that I can catch up with you. The Stalkers are going to be moving in now, going to be firing at that bunker. That bunker doesn't have anything in it, so that bunker won't really help all that much, although it does sort of serve as a meat shield there. A couple of Marines are going to go down. Very nice micro from HasuObs. Will lose 1 Stalker, though, and I mean, he has been microing pretty well, but all in all, he's actually lost a lot more than Everize. 650 minerals in Everize's favor. The unit's lost tab, and that bunker is going to go up. Second bunker is also going to be going up to supplement the first one. And
I guarantee you, considering how heavy the Stalker play, the Marine play has been for Everize, HasuObs is not happy with the way he's been microing these Stalkers, because there's no need to really lose any Stalkers to any kind of massive Marines.
Very, very true. Stalkers do outrange Marines, I believe, by 2. The Stalkers do have that range of 6, and Marines have that range of 5. So only by 1. But at the Grandmaster level, which HasuObs is, you really should be able to I mean, even if he does lose a couple Stalkers, he shouldn't have lost as many as he did. There's only 2 Marauders in this mix. Third one has just spawned. I don't know. Does he have concussive shells yet?
He is researching. Yes. He's researching his stem and combat shield, so he's actually continuing to go for very Marine heavy play. And I think we might see a really great stem timing. Stem, of course, completely destroys the advantage that Stalkers have over Marines, if you have enough Marines. So, I don't know, combat shields and stem might show to have some really, really good stuff that he can do with it. He is deciding maybe to push a little bit out. Let us see if he's going to follow through with that, maybe.
Yeah, there is a Colossus on the way out. Well, 1 Colossus isn't going to do a huge amount of damage. As soon as he gets 2 or 3 Colossi out, those Marines are going to be pretty much tinder for the Colossus's big fire beams. There is a 3rd expansion going up for Everize on its way. It's already flying on its way to that 3rd expansion location, and it does look like Everize is going to be chilling at the Zelnaga Watchtower. And he is going to be moving in here. Nope, he's not. A little bit of indecision.
Although keep in mind, Extended Thermal Lance still has not been started, which does mean that Colossus is going to be rather vulnerable. It's going to have to be very, very, very careful.
That's very true. It only has a range of 6, which means it has only 1 range more than the Marines, and those Zealots are going to have to do their job as meat shield very well. Everize is wasting a little time attacking these rocks, which means that he may actually have enough time for that 2nd Colossus to come out. Everize has pulled back to the tower now, and I don't know whether Everize realizes that Extended Thermal Lance is not yet finished. So he would have had a great opportunity to push there. He is deciding to move kind of home. It just looks like he doesn't really know what he wants to do with this army here. It's like moving left, right, and forward, back.
Yeah, but at the same time, that third is up for Everize, and he is going to be getting a planetary fortress on that. And only now is mouzHasuObs thinking about expanding, and that Marine is heading towards the pylon, ready to kill it off. And so I don't know. HasuObs is finding himself pretty badly contained, and finally Everize is just and you know actually he's continuing to move around, continuing to seem indecisive, but at the same time he is actually just basically staying in control of every part of the map that isn't his opponent's base.
I keep wanting to say, and Everize is moving in. Ooh, there is a double drop though. He has lifted he has filled up 2 of those medevacs, and a total of, I believe that is 12 Marines and 2 Marauders.
Oh no, HasuObs at his level, HasuObs should know that he should see that this army size has reduced significantly,
and there are no
that
medevacs
should have
with
tipped
that
him
army.
off.
And the medevacs are going to be flying into the main. They are going to be dropped, and there is nothing nearby there. He is going to have to warp in units ASAP.
Oh
He's
no, he
focusing
could lose
down the
Cyber
Cybercore, and the Cybercore would be huge. He's also moving the main army towards the third, and HasuObs has lost power on 2 of those gateways as well, and the Cybercore will go down. And wow, he's just in a horrific position right now. The main engagement is going to be going on over here. Everize is actually going to pull back after sniping that pylon. And there's nothing to deal with. Finally, a Colossus has spawned. There are a couple of units in there as well. And he should be able to clean this up with the help of that Colossus. And yeah, the couple of Zealots and a couple of Stalkers will be able to clean that up, that drop up reasonably well. But the main army for Everize has escaped without suffering too many losses. This little scouting party is going to be running in and probably dying reasonably easily. There goes the Marauder.
I'll tell you what, HasuObs needs to saturate that expansion as fast as humanly possible. He currently has a huge advantage over his opponent. He will have a gigantic defender's advantage. His armor level 2 is actually finishing right now. His opponent only on 1-1, and he will soon have 2-1. Which means that he will have actually a big advantage. The slightest difference in upgrades when your opponent does not have ghosts gives you a massive advantage once you get that magical number of 3 Colossi.
Definitely. However, there are 5 Vikings on the field. That is a lot of Vikings, and while they probably won't be able to take out 3 Colossi, the Vikings, even while being focused down, should be able to get 1, maybe 2. And,
yes,
he is
but
continuing
that
to
Viking
pump out
count
Vikings.
actually is not high enough to deal with that kind of Colossus count, because that kind of Colossus count will just burn straight through this Marine line, and then suddenly you just have a bunch of Zealots and Stalkers versus a couple of Marauders, and a couple of Marauders is super low health. So I feel like that Viking count either needs to get higher or needs to get Ghosts, which he is getting. He's getting that. He is going to hopefully research Mobius Reactor. He does have that Ghost Academy out now.
Yes, it looks like HasuObs has opted to. He is no longer producing Colossus, so he's cut Colossus production. There is a Templar Archives that's just finished up, as well as 3-2 is now on the way, plus 2 armor weapons and plus 3 armor, whereas Everize is still researching 2-2. So with Chrono Boost on his side, he should be able to get a pretty commanding upgrade lead. However, I think it's definitely the right choice that HasuObs has stopped production of Colossi. And because we're looking at 9 Vikings right here, and if he continues to pump out Vikings, which he's not doing that right now, but if he gets Everize to overcommit with Vikings, he may be in a phenomenal position with those Templar.
Yes, indeed, but at the same time, it's important to know that if you let your opponent get slightly too many Vikings, he'll actually have a huge advantage if you stop Colossus production. And then if you make him make just a few more Vikings, you'll have the advantage, because then he'll have overcommitted. There's a very, 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 very subtle line to what's overcommittal, and right now, Everize has not yet overcommitted to Vikings. 9 Vikings is a very respectable amount to deal with 3 Colossi, but at the same time, if he makes about 5 or 6 Colossi, actually, that would do really well, because it would do so much damage to this Bio Ball before the Vikings could deal with it. But the Ghosts are out, and those Ghosts are going to come in super handy. Suddenly, 9 Vikings with 4 Ghosts is basically going to be the equivalent against those Colossi of 18 Vikings with no Ghosts. So that's going to play a huge role.
Everize has also taken a 4th, which is morphing into a planetary fortress, and HasuObs is trying to take a 4th here, but Everize's army is right on the borders. And it looks like he is definitely going to be able to force a cancel on that. At least HasuObs' army is coming in, but it is still out of position. He will force the cancel on this Nexus. And the army, actually, HasuObs not choosing to engage. Or no, yes, he is choosing to engage. Here comes the engagement. Brilliant EMPs going down. Almost all the shields are gone. He has retreated a little bit, but here comes the engagement, and I don't think I like this. HasuObs may have been able to escape without those shields. A couple of Templar are going to be able to come in. If he can get a couple of storms off, that would be phenomenal. But he is going to be able... Ooh, brilliant storms going down, and that is going to be a lot of health gone on that Bioforce.
Yes, indeed it is. Now the Terran Force is giving chase. That those Protoss still don't have their shields, but remember, if the Protoss can avoid engaging for about 20-25 seconds, suddenly that shield disadvantage will be completely gone. EMP, you have to capitalize on immediately, unlike when you get, like, if you get 6 Templar and feed back all the medevacs and get some beautiful storms, essentially you can basically just stop the Terran Force from returning home and try and get chased, because they will chase you because you have no shields. And then once your shields come back, you just absolutely destroy it. So it's like, there's a very short-term advantage to that EMP that the Terran has to capitalize on. And now HasuObs should be able to take this fourth without too much of a problem.
Definitely. There are 2 orbital commands on the way up for Everize that are located at his third. Whether or not he decides to use these as macro orbital commands or to expand in 2 more locations, I'm going to be interested to see. Everize has a pretty significant supply lead, but as far as army power goes, I'd say they're actually pretty even, despite him having a pretty commanding lead in army supply, simply because a lot of his units are very, very hurt.
3-3 is just about ready, and that does mean that he'll have a very, very short-term advantage over his opponent. His opponent will soon have 2-3, and yeah, the Dark Shrine coming up, and I actually think this is a fairly good idea. It's going to force a lot of scans. It's going to limit the Marine production. I think we'll see this be the last Colossus, hopefully, unless he loses one. And I don't know. I'm hoping to see some DT play as well, some Archon play.
Definitely, we are going to be seeing this army moving in once again for Everize, and this time this expansion is finished and saturated now, so he will not be able to cancel anything. 1 feedback going on. Ooh, a couple of feedbacks going from those. Ooh, misses with the EMP. Engagement is going to be going in now. 1 Colossus is going to be able to do a lot of damage. A couple of storms going down. And Everize's engagement in that choke is not going to be very good for him at all, simply because the storms are able to cover so much of the army. And he's going to try to push in again. Colossus is going to be doing a little damage. No storm just yet. The last Viking does go down. And that means a brilliant storm. Almost all those units are pretty much dead now. And the blink from those Stalkers is going to allow him to pick off a few more units. And while the army size is bigger for Everize, HasuObs just has he has way more health.
Yeah, he does, and a huge mismicro there, pushing the medevacs into the Stalkers while the Stalkers are retreating. Suddenly, that's just, hey, here's some free medevacs, and that's really not going to help.
That's very true, and all of a sudden, Everize, who's had a pretty phenomenal advantage all game, is actually down by 30 supply.
I told you, dude. Upgrades. Upgrades are so important.
There are DTs in the mix now, and of course that does mean that if Everize doesn't realize that there's DTs, he won't be able to get that. He won't be able to throw down that scan. So DTs are going to be leaving the main army. He will be sending these out to the expansions pretty soon. There are missile turrets over here. There's 1 missile turret there, and it looks like Everize is reasonably set up to deal with any sort of DT shenanigans. There are no missile turrets in the natural or in the main, but he should be in a reasonable position. He is going to be trying to take a 5th now, and HasuObs has seen that, so...
Yes, he has, but HasuObs is taking a 5th of his own. I feel like HasuObs should just continue to push his advantage, not lose units unnecessarily, make cost-efficient engagements, and he should be in a good place, simply because he is mining out just a tiny bit slower than his opponent, simply because he doesn't have those mules. So every time he gets into an engagement where he just soaks up the Marines, just kills the Marines.
The DTs are doing a lot of damage so far. He has gotten himself 8 worker kills with these DTs, as well as several kills on Marines and Marauders. And that is not at all bad from these DTs, these 2 DTs. This one has 9 kills in total, and this one has 5 now. And the scan will go down, allowing them to kill those. That is a lot of ghosts. That is actually 13 ghosts on the field for... 14 ghosts on the field for Everize. That's pretty damn huge.
Yeah, and ghosts, that's basically how you overcome that gigantic upgrade disadvantage he had, is simply to get more cost-efficient engagements. You have to keep dropping EMPs, keep sniping those Templar, and you just have to make sure that you win every single engagement. It is Everize's responsibility to make sure that he is spending less money at every step of the way in the rest of this match, because otherwise he is going to lose this game.
That is definitely true, Sean. Both players are maxed again, and that is a lot of Marauders in that force from Everize. And, well, a lot of Marauders and a lot of Ghosts are going to be very, very good against this very gateway-heavy army. Storms will do a lot of damage to this Bioforce, but Marauders, of course, don't take as much damage, anywhere near as much damage from Storms as Marines do. Got to be blinking in with a couple of Stalkers. Will lose 2 of them. And at the cost of that, 1 Stalker for 1 Viking for 2 Stalkers, not exactly the best trade.
Oh my god, look at that Colossus count, though.
That is very true. There are 4 Colossi now, and as well as how many Templar are there on the field? There are a total of 11 Templar on the field. I don't know if all of them are actually in this army, but he is going to be pushing forward. No, maybe. And the engagement is going to be coming up. A couple of Ghosts on the side will throw down perfect EMPs. Almost all of this army without shields now. And mouzHasuObs is going to try to retreat, but he is going to be losing quite a few units here. The Templar are going to be able to storm to force the retreat.
Oh
but
my god.
A couple of snipes going off, and he's going to lose a couple of Archons.
Ghosts are so good.
Oh, a very nice storm going down will kill several units. A lot of this army is very, very low on health now, but yeah, this is really not looking good for HasuObs now.
Oh no, HasuObs is going to lose his 5th. There's no way he can stop that unless he gets a perfect engagement. Those units are pretty low on health, so when they do push in, he may be able to ward them off.
I believe every Colossus is now down. Yes, there is 1 Colossus on the field somewhere. I'm not sure where, but Everize is going to be moving into this expansion over here. And this is such a crucial expansion for him. A nice storm going down will do a decent amount of damage. But that is a lot of Vikings there for no Colossus anymore. Another storm going down, going to kill a lot of these units. And a lot of these
units get a beautiful surround with those Stalkers.
Yes, they are at the back here. And yes, he is going to be engaging now. And these units are all, once again, Everize is in that position where he's stimmed so many times that it is a very, very low health army, and 1 good storm would kill them all.
Indeed, 1 good storm would kill them all. At this point, HasuObs is now completely in control. He can take this expansion if he wants, but I feel like he's just going to take his time.
In control plays for EG.
I'm going to punch you in the face after this game, and he is indeed now in complete control of the map. I don't know, dude. This game could go either way. Everize is finally going to take that expansion. Ooh, he's going with an orbital. He does have an orbital at his 4th ready to go, which means that he's going to be playing super greedy, which he kind of has to.
That is true. Just taking a look at this, Everize is mined out of his main, mined out of his natural, mined out of this expansion down here. The only mining base that he has at the moment until this orbital lands is this one here with only 6 mineral patches. And that is a lot of Vikings. Everize is continuing to put in Vikings, but I just realized that there are 3 Colossus on the way for HasuObs, so not at all a bad choice from Everize. But just take a look.
HasuObs is now on 2.5 mining bases if you count half a mining base for that 6 patch, whatever number it is. Meanwhile, Everize, he just has that half base, and he has 1 base that he just took with the orbital, which is very vulnerable, and he has that planetary, which is starting to mine out. So
that DT did take down 9 kills in total. I'm not sure if they were all workers in that new expansion from Everize, and the major army from HasuObs is going to be catching this this orbital command out of position, and Everize just doesn't have enough to deal with this right now.
And I'll tell you something. If you're going to make that many Marines in your mid-game, in your slightly late game, it's going to bite you straight in the ass in your very, very late game, because you're going to have nowhere to get those minerals from, because you're just milling so hard that you're mined out of every single place. So there's a huge long-term that the Terran player always needs to think about if he's going to play that PvT, because late-game PvT, once your opponent has 4 Colossi, it is so cost-efficient and so unbelievably good. Every single unit perfectly complements the other. There's absolutely no redundancy. And that is actually the source of a lot of people saying late-game Protoss is just, quite frankly, rather imbalanced. And I don't know if that's true or false, but it's hard to deny that every single Protoss unit perfectly complements the other in the late game.
That is very true. And, well, for a second I thought HasuObs was going to move into that little base down here, the half base down here, the planetary, but he has decided instead he's going to be going for this no longer fully saturated base. He's forcing Everize to retreat with this big army, and if those stalkers blink forward, which they just have, they
Vikings
will
are
get a
so
lot.
useless.
Oh god. And he's going to be able to move in here with his army, but Everize just doesn't have enough. He's
The
forced to
control
retreat.
from HasuObs is so good.
It's very, very true, and he's going to be able to take down this orbital. And all these SCVs are just sitting here with nothing to mine from the space. Everize is going to be coming for the engagement. There is some nice storms going down, and there is the GG from Everize. HasuObs does take game 1. That was a very long game.